Yeah, let's go. There's not a man that I fear. There's nobody here that can stop me. Cause I'm in a league of my own, yeah. Y'all can just sit back and watch me. They know who I am, they can't imitate. Don't stay in your lane, I'ma set it straight. I'm putting my way to the top. You get in my way, you know that I'ma renovate. You know I'm about to lock it. All my mom said they was looking for just like the Loch Ness. They think they gon' knock me off the throne, they better stop it. They can never reach me where I'm at, I'm in a rocket cockpit. In other words, you can't touch me. It's like I got the ball and it's probably. And you won't see me when I'm coming through. You can't stop me, I'm running through.
I'm untouchable, yeah, 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 I'm untouchable, yeah.
Feed, fight, both from. I'm the giant that they running from. Taking shots, I think they jump the gun. If they go against me, then they done. You cannot handle this. I don't think you can pay for the damages. I'm the one that's gonna be in first place. You gon' need first aid. Think you need bandages. You know I'm about to lock it. All my mom said they was looking for just like the Loch Ness. They think they gon' knock me off the throne, they better stop it. They can never reach me where I'm at, I'm in a rocket cockpit. In other words, you can't touch me. It's like I got the ball and it's probably. And you won't see me when I'm coming through. You can't stop me, I'm running through.
I'm untouchable, yeah, 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 I'm untouchable, yeah.
wait a minute, sorry. Yeah, you can put the thing on, right? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for joining Realistic Vibes, where vibe is always positive. How are you guys doing on today? Today, I have a really special show. Been wanting to do this, but I couldn't find parents that are willing to come on and talk to me about this. We know that autism is one of the most prevalent diagnoses, especially within the Black community. And now there is a study that's being done at my place of employment that there are more and more families that are being diagnosed with multiple diagnoses. So each and every child that the family has are being diagnosed with autism. So I wanted to always do this conversation, and I so happened to come upon somebody that does have several children in their family that has autism. So everybody, I want you to give a virtual clap for my guest on today. Hi, guys. We have Javon and William Thompson. I met Javon. We're gonna talk about how we met. We know we met.
We know.
Yeah. Well, we do it. We have our children. Well, my child and her children have autism, so we kind of connected on that level. And I'm so happy to also have their father here, so that we can get from the male perspective about going through this journey with your children with the autism diagnosis. So, having said that, ladies first, go ahead and introduce yourself, shout out your channel, and all that other good stuff.
Yes, my name is Javon, but on YouTube I go by Death Mage. My channel is mostly a gaming channel, but I also do some cooking and some crocheting on there a little bit, but mostly games. So that's about me.
Don't try to be no shy. Oh my goodness. Okay, gentlemen.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is William Thompson. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I watch a lot of YouTube. Uh, a little bit about myself. Retired military, 21 years, and I'm currently a representative at the VA, processing veteran claims. I love my job. Um, love my children. The best, I would say, the best job in the world is being a father, being a parent. And I take a lot of pride in that. So, just happy to be on this journey with the two of you today, and let's get this discussion going.
All right. See, Javon, that's how you supposed to do that. Okay.
He probably used to talking because he was a trainer and stuff like that. So.
All right, get down to it, because I know that the mister has to go. We can't keep him out here all alone. So let's get down to get to know, but you guys met, get married. First baby comes. Tell us about the process, or how did you because I know, like, for me, after my son got like 7-8 shots at one time, and he switched. So I knew something was wrong then. So you guys, tell me, with the first child, how did you know that something was wrong? Did you know? Take us through that journey.
You want to go first, Will?
Oh yes, sure. I think when I started to get concerned, I thought he was. We're talking about Raymond, our oldest son, who's about to turn 25 here in October. Wow. When he was around maybe 2.5, I just feel like up until that point he was developing pretty well as far as his motor skills and being able to comprehend and do certain things, but he just wasn't. At one point he wasn't as verbal as I thought he should be, and I just I feel like maybe he is taking his time to develop. He's so smart. He's overthinking a lot of things, or thinking about so many things, to where his communication would catch up with his mindset and with his intelligence. So that's how I took it. Um, in the beginning until he reached about 3, and he still wasn't speaking um, to the point of where I was used to 3-year-olds speaking. He was our first child, so I didn't know um, when a child is supposed to actually start speaking. But I figured that around that age, he should be able to have like a full conversation. Now, he was verbal at some point. He was able to say a few things here and there, but you can kind of tell that it was a little different.
Miss, how you still there? Oh, okay. Um, yeah, pretty much what he said. I so just a little bit of background. Once I got out the military, I opened up a home child care. Um, and through that process is how I could pick it up, because I'm teaching all these other children around his age, and he wasn't picking up like just basic stuff like songs and things like that. Nothing I would think is too hard for a 2 or 3 year old child, you know. So I took him to the doctor, and this is when we were living in California. Took him to the doctor, and they were more concerned about him being bow-legged. And the doctor straight told me that, well, boys usually develop slower than girls. Now, I'm different. I'm like, I get that, but they all 2 and 3 year olds. This is no. I'm not trying to have him do rocket science. I just wanted him to sing ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. All 2 or 3 year old boys and girls should be on that level. Um, then it wasn't till we moved to Texas, and when I started working outside the house, um, he was going to a child care, and the child a person in the child care was doing a development thing with other children there, and they noticed him because he was lining things up and stuff. And they was like, when I went to pick him up, they was like, "Can we meet with you?" As I was like, "Sure." And they came to me and they talked to me. I said, "Yeah, y'all could come to my house," because I always had a feeling, but the doctors were worried about something else. And then that's when it confirmed. When she came to the house, it's called it's ECC, early child. I can't remember what it was, Will, something like that, right? When
It's
they
the
came
I
to the
think it's
house,
equivalent. I think it's equivalent to what they have now as early prevention.
yeah, and they came to the house
Yeah.
and they did some stuff, and that's when they actually confirmed Raymond was autism, along with our second child, who wasn't in school or childcare yet. So
Oh, so you already had your second child. How old was your second child at that time?
they're like a year apart, like a year and a half apart, something like that, because
Okay,
she
y'all were
was,
busy. Okay, y'all
yeah,
were
she,
busy. Y'all,
look,
y'all were busy.
military do
Y'all were
that.
busy.
He was 3, she was 2. So
Yeah.
Okay, so at the same time, they evaluated both kids, both of the children, and so they
yes,
diagnosed both of them.
yes, at the same time. Yep.
So after that, I think you're seeing the presentation that I gave. I talk about the stages of grief that parents go through once they find out the child's diagnosis. Did either one of you experience, some of the stages of grief, the denial, the grief, you go through a little bit of depression, you really don't want to accept it. So did you have any type of anxiety about what your life is about to change to? Or was there any type of confusion? Kind of give us a little look into that.
Okay. You want to go to first one?
I guess. I was a little confused because I didn't know anybody in my family. Because they asked, "Do you have anybody in your family?" Or like, "No, I don't recall anybody in my family being autistic or anything like that." Um, I'm really good at hiding stuff, how I feel. So my depression and my anxiety and things like that, I really didn't discuss with Will. A lot of that I just hid, just dealt with it. And my thing was, okay, what's next? What's my next move? What's this? Whatever. And anything I was feeling, I just kept to myself. Um, I don't know why I'm like that, but it's just what it is. I was just full focus on, okay, what's next? I think the military kind of with that was just like, okay, the world got to keep going. So what's next? I can't sit and soak all day. You know, which probably was a bad thing. We probably should have just talked about our feelings like that, but we didn't. At least I didn't. So I just kept it going.
William?
Oh, oh yes. Almost immediately because I knew about autism, just by learning about it while I was in school. And in the beginning, I didn't really know how to accept it. So I felt like, um, it was something that I did, maybe something that I took, maybe a vaccination that I received, and I passed it on when we had children and they were affected by that. It was just a multitude of things that was going through my mind at the time. But however, I was still very optimistic, and Givenchy would tell you this. I always say that they can probably grow out of it. There's a chance that they'll grow out of this. And I just feel like it will make its turn for the better. Was praying about it, and just it was really tough. It was really tough. Um, especially when they were younger, and trying to be able to fit in with other children that didn't have this diagnosis. As a parent, it's almost like you feel like you want so much for your kids, and at the same time, you feel completely helpless on trying to give them a better life. That's what I was thinking at the time. But eventually, over time, I had to realize, like, my son and my daughter are special. They're special kids. They're blessed. I'm a praying man. I'm a Christian man, and I just felt like the Lord is gonna have. Not trying to make this a religious meeting or anything like that, but I just feel like the Lord is watching my kids, is there with them, and He is gonna make sure that they're okay, and I don't need to worry about it because you know at a time where, especially when they were becoming teenagers, a dad thinks about the first time he got to talk to his son about a girlfriend, vice versa. A daughter has, the first time a daughter talks to her dad about boys. Of course, that's a really tough conversation, but it's a conversation that, as fathers, I can say that we look forward to having, so we can tell them that all guys are terrible, right? And don't get married till you're 40, right? But I just, and I think the older, especially with Nala, the older that she got, I think the harder it got for me because I didn't, as optimistic as I was, I just didn't, I just didn't see it. I didn't see any improvement. Even to this day, Nala is, she's 23 years old, and um, I used to have dreams about having a regular conversation with my oldest daughter, and hearing her say, "Dad, this is how my day went. This guy got on my nerves because he always bugging me trying to get my phone number. Like this is stuff that I used to think about and dream about, and then I wake up and then it's not the reality. So at times that is pretty tough,
Hmm.
to think about it and think about that. I may never get a chance to walk my daughter down the aisle, to get married. I may never get a chance to witness my oldest son walk down the aisle and get married and have a kid. They're at when I was their age, when we were their age, we had them already,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
had them already. So I'm 46, 45 years old. I almost gave you Javon's age. I'm
You go
45
before.
years
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, y'all make me feel. Oh, okay. Just turned 49.
old. I'm 45 years old. I'll be 46 in August. And is I see my brothers and they're grandparents already. All three of my older brothers are all grandparents. Um, and I see how much joy they have, being called Paw or Grandpa or I see that and I'm like, man, that is lovely. But at the same time, I love Raymond and Nala. They both have character. They both they have their challenges, and Javon knows this. Um, you know, uh, but they're special. And I'm gonna tell you something. By having them has made me a better person. That has made me a better person. I can't speak for Javon, but I think it has for her as well because we've been knowing each other since we was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I
Almost our
mean,
whole life.
yeah. so I to me they made me a better person. They made me a more patient person. So I'm thankful. I'm blessed. I don't look at it as as a curse. I look at having them as a gift. They are amazing. They are amazing, and sometimes it's difficult to understand, difficult to deal with from time to time, especially Nala. Nala's a little more critical than Raymond. Raymond is hilarious. Raymond is funny. He is stuck in his way, and he is very, very, very serious. But he's funny too. Like there's certain times where, and I don't mean to just blabber on about it, but I can talk about them forever.
You got to keep
You
going. You
know,
good.
um, he'll be at the table and he has a lot of young siblings that are young. I think, of course, Amira is 18, and then he has three younger, but he has a stepbrother, brothers, two younger stepbrothers, a younger sister, and a real baby younger brother, 18 months. So I know, um, yes. But anyway, he is very protected. He is still, even though he's autistic, he is still the big brother. He still demands that presence. When he's around, he's in demand, he's in control, and they respect him. And they know and they understand his condition, but at the same time, they give him their respect. And that's why I can find peace in knowing that, hey, what is happening to them is what God wanted to happen to them and what he want to happen to us, because us three that's on this video call right now, we are God gonna put children in the lives of people, parents that are able to deal with them and that's gonna love them unconditionally. And that's why we have them. So we're blessed. I looked at it as, hey, God chose me to have these children, and he didn't choose anybody else. Maybe my brother wasn't strong enough to have a child with autism. Maybe my sister wasn't strong enough to have a child with autism, or my cousin, or vice versa. But he chose me. He chose Javon because we are able to deal with it. We are able to love our children and deal with the situation, and that's why it's happening. So I know a lot of people like, why me? I used to say that, why me? Why me? Why does this happen to me? But why not me? Right? Why not me? Why should someone else deal with that? Maybe they're not capable of doing it, but I know that I am, and she knows that she is as well. And I believe that we're doing an amazing job. We're not together, but we
We have
co-parent
a
to the T.
village. We have a
Right?
village.
We have a village. I'm married
Yeah.
again, and her, Javon, and my wife, man,
Miss
they get
Lynn,
they're probably
we
better
best
friends than
friends.
we are. Right?
That's about
So it's crazy. So they be jumping on me. They be jumping on me.
We do.
Like, I'm
We be
like,
hitting them
really?
up for money to go out or go
Yeah.
eating.
Yeah. Right.
it. Yeah.
supposed to go,
Yes.
but anyway, but we all, and like you
Takes a
said,
village.
we are a village. We are a village, and we all do what's best for our kids, and we love them, and they love us, and they're in the right place because it can be a lot worse, and it's not.
Yes,
So
yes, we're going to talk
yeah,
about
and I'm sorry,
that.
I probably went on about
That's
50
No,
minutes.
go
okay.
My
ahead.
apologies.
You're doing good. That's good because you really kind of opened up a lot more of the kind of things I was going to ask you. So you
Yes,
talked
ma'am.
about a bit about the hopes and dreams that you had, and then
Hmm.
that you will no longer achieve. So Javon, same question to you, especially as a because I know with the moms we want to have that mother-daughter relationship, that kind of thing. Do
Hmm.
you have some of the same? Did you have some of the same thoughts like William did? I may never get to do this with her, or the communication is different. And how? And this is the second question for both of you.
Okay.
How do you deal with puberty?
Okay.
Oh,
So,
that's a good one.
um, I did have those same. I still have those same thoughts and admirations for Nyla and for Raymond because what I'm not a girly girl. Will knows this. I'm a tomboy, but at some point, when when Amira went to her prom, I wanted to see Nala go to prom, and she did, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
I bought the dress. She couldn't say, "Oh, mom, I like this," or I wanted to be take her to thing. You like this dress? Let's try it on. And same thing with my son when we took him to get his suit and stuff. So it was like with her, it's like you have to show her things. You're like this or this, and then she just points. So it's not the same as she's getting excited and she's getting her hair done. Oh, mom, I gotta go get my nails done. I gotta get my shoes. And mom, can you give me this dress? It's $2,000, but I know you got it. You know. So
Don't
I
call
didn't get
daddy.
to yeah, call daddy.
Right.
I didn't get to experience that with Nyla. That was my first daughter. And I really want to experience that with her. With Raymond, he's a cartoonist. He'll tell you his art name is Picasso Boy because he loved Picasso. But when they were
Hmm.
little, I put him in sports because me and Will are both sports fanatics, and I
Yeah.
just wanted to see him like play. Look how tall he is. Like play basketball. Me and your dad played basketball. We wanted to see him out in sports and stuff like that, but it just didn't come. And then I
Yeah.
just had to be like, this is who they are. Let me lean into who they are and stop trying to push them to be something different because at some point I was like, here, just try just try baseball out. Just try this, just try that. I was putting them in it, just try it out. If you don't like it, you ain't got to do it again. But I was trying to push him somewhere else, but that's not what he liked. So I just leaned into what he liked instead of forcing something else on him because like he doesn't like it. So I just gave in and be like, this is my son, this is who he is. I'm gonna like whatever he likes. Whatever he wants to go, that's where I'm gonna go. And it flowed better that way. To just let him he's a child, but basically he the leader. At one like, this is what I like, mom. Follow me. So I you like Legos and he a Lego fanatic. I built him a Lego table and everything. I just leaned into what they like, whatever
Yeah.
their admirations was. I just leaned into it, did research on it. How can I find a group that's more knowledgeable to their behaviors and what their needs is? Because everything that I put them in, the children were quote unquote regular. They weren't like him, so I had to lean into okay, how can I find a program that can understand and be okay with how he is? And be okay with how Nyla is, you know, and just find out what they're good at and then focus on what they're good at and give them more of what they like to do. And that's just how I handled that, you know. But, Nyla, she's older now, and I still, till this day, wish that she could go out and date. Same thing with Raymond, go out and date because I want to be that mom, be like, you can't bring that 304 in the house. She not like your mama. She got to go. But I can't. I don't have that experience, and I I wish I did have that experience where I could meet the girlfriends and meet the boyfriends and, you know, but it is what it is. So
So you have two girls, right?
I have
Yeah.
two female children. Yes, two girls.
Okay.
So the
So
youngest, of course, I'm going through that with her. So it is fun.
right. I was about to tell you,
But
we stopped at the two diagnoses. When did the third child get diagnosed?
so she's not diagnosed. She's not autistic at all. It's just the two
Oh,
oldest.
she's not. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
then you have two that's autistic.
just the two
Okay.
oldest
Got it.
ones are. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question to you, Javon, and then to William. I'm gonna give William the boys, and you're gonna take the girls.
Okay.
Puberty. How
Okay.
did that go? How is that going with the puberty? You know, the menstruals and the boobs, and all that. How did you finagle
So
that part?
the boobs wasn't a problem. The menstrual was the problem. Um, because she's going to school. Well, she was in school. Uh, the pad thing wasn't working. So what we had to do is while she's at school was she had to wear like Depends or period panties, which worked fine because those the helpers at school can't help her all like throughout the day like that. Like she because Nala has a heavy flow, and at one point it was to the point where she was on it for 3 months because I have a condition, a dysmenorrhea. So I think she probably has it too. And the school called me because they were concerned. And I had to take her to the doctor because the school said, you got to take her to the doctor. And the doctor said the same thing that I said. Well, she's hormonal. If she's having a lot of pain or whatever, they bring her back. But eventually it kind of regulated itself out, but it was rough. And her little sister's trying to help. And because she said, "Oh, Mom, I just thought you wore the pad one time a month, like one pad in a month." So she was trying to help her put it on when she was
We can
little.
only wish. We can only wish.
So, but yeah, the period thing was very rough. It's worked itself out now, and she'll go in and she'll change her pad or change her period panties. Me personally, for a child with autism as severe as Nala's is, I prefer the period panties for her. It's just way easier than the pad and the panties and things like that. It's just way easier. And she knows she'll go in there when it's her time of the month. She leak it on the bed or whatever. She'll go take her shower. She'll go get her little period panties, and she good.
So do you think having a routine, putting a routine in place is helping her to be able to do that on her own by having a routine?
Yes, routine and changing from the pad to the period panties actually helped.
Okay.
But all my kids are very into routine because I'm into routine as well. So it was just like, we got to get this together because it was very hard when she was in school. But like I said, she ended up catching on to it. And it was like, okay, I need to change. But the reason why the period panties is great is because she doesn't know how often she needs to change a pad. So that's why the period panties are great because, say for instance, I'm not home, she may not go in there and change it 2 or 3 times. So that's why the period panties are fine because they hold a little bit more. So when I get home, I could change, be like, hey, now let's go change a thing or whatever, versus just the pad. She may do it and she may not. So I prefer the little panties. And I send them when they go visit Will. I send everything she needs with him. So, and I don't know if he have any issues. I remember one time he might have had issues with the hair, but the hair in the swimsuit. But he made it through. But Yeah.
Your turn. Puberty. Let's hear it.
well, Miss Ty, I know you. You gave me for the male version of,
Mhm.
but let me reiterate on with Nyla.
Okay.
Uh, and she knows. So I remember this one time I went to pick them up, and I think this is right shortly after Nyla had started having her periods, and
Mhm.
so she kind of pulled me to the side and was mentioning that to me, and I was like, wow, this is the first because I didn't know what to expect. I never dealt with it, and as we know, Nyla's my oldest daughter, so it's the first time. So
Mhm.
it was a challenge, but I was up for it and made it through. And even to this day, even now, I asked Nyla, and even though Javon she send whatever she needs, I keep a stash for myself as well.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so it was different. It was different, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna applaud my baby girl with Javon, Amira, who I mentioned that turned 18, and she had to grow up really fast. She had to grow up really fast, and she helped me out a lot when they all came down. Uh, she is Amira is, I want to say, almost 5 years younger than Nyla, and I would say as a 7-year old, especially an 8-year old, Amira was assisting Nyla when she was with me. When it came to that, when they would take a shower, when she would take a shower, when she needed to change herself or whatever, Amira was right there. Because although I'm a dad, I kind of distantly monitored. I use that the whole situation because she was still a teenager, and I wanted to build that separation from being an adult male and a teenage female. So it was a challenge, but we made through. But I was a little uh feared in the beginning because I never done it before. But I was thankful that we made it through that situation. Now on the other end, the son, when he got into puberty, you can tell the change in his voice, the change in his um demeanor. You know, I would say Raymond, yeah, he going on 25. That's my baby boy in the back. He's going on 25, but Raymond has been, I would say Raymond been a grown man since he
All
was
his life.
12, 13 years old. He's been an adult 12, 13 years old to now. And I think when with him feeling that way, he he's very dominant. He wants to be in charge, and with that, when he knew that he wasn't in charge, sometimes he had some drawback. And I
Mhm.
think he definitely had that with his mom. Um and once I get, heat of the story, I have to basically have that actual man to man talk with him. And I think one time he kind of, raised up on me one time, and then he
Ooh.
never did it again. He
Yeah.
never
Oh
did that
boy.
again. It only took one time, but when you deal with a situation like that, and you have to stand your ground as a parent. Initially, it killed me inside. It really did. But at the same time, I knew that it was needed. It was needed, and I never had to deal with it again. He's an amazing young man. I can't say a kid because he's not. He's far from that. but he's an amazing young man. And I still, to this day, have talked to him because I understand the challenge of him, being in the house, being a 24-year-old going 25, and he's standing there with his mom. And we both know how his mom is as well.
He's strict. Don't
So
play.
I think that can be challenging. That can be challenging for him as well. So every now and then we gotta kind of have to reiterate those instructions and that structure, even though he's an adult and he feels like he's an adult. He actually is an adult.
He is.
But that's been the biggest challenge with him. But far as him being a good sibling, or older sibling, he's been phenomenal. His brothers and sisters love him, they respect him, and they listen to him. So I'm very thankful for that.
Miss Ty, your voice is something going on the mic on your end. It's like I can hear, but it's like real crackling. I don't know what it is. Can you hear your stream?
No, it's broken up really bad.
Yeah, it's broken up real bad. But it sounds. I could barely make out what your question is. But it's like. Well, I see Miss Linda. Let me talk to Linda. Hey, girl.
Hi.
What y'all doing?
We just got in the car. We had delicious lunch.
And all that.
What y'all eat for lunch? I'm hungry. I gotta go grocery shopping after this.
Ah, I see your cat ears.
Oh, you see her, girl.
Okay. And we had some delicious
Fried chicken.
I'm about to have. I had some fish yesterday. Oh, that's Miss Ty.
Okay,
This
hello.
Linda, Miss Ty. Yeah, it's still breaking up.
Yeah. Is it not the Bluetooth?
I don't think it's the Bluetooth. No.
Okay.
No,
I think that's on Miss Ty's end.
Yeah, it's on Miss Ty's end.
Okay. All right. Is this a one-time thing?
If you spend a little bit of time with Cindy Jensen, you can tell just how much she loves her children. She's given up everything in order to raise them, which is a full-time job. Meet 19-year-old Madison, 14-year-old Ellie, and 11-year-old Charlie. They all have severe autism. Their older sister, 20-year-old Teddy, also has autism but is high functioning. So how is it possible to have 4 children with autism? Both Teddy and Madison were diagnosed at the same time as children.
The specialist told us at the time that if you have 2 kids with autism, you will never have another kid. It's like winning the lottery. Don't worry about it. You'll have healthy children after that.
That didn't happen. Ellie was born with autism. Charlie came as a surprise. He too has autism.
I love him more than you can imagine, but it's so stressful.
On bad days, the children have meltdowns. They have no way of verbalizing their feelings or if they're in pain. This is the only way they can.
It is so extremely hard to feel trapped, to feel alone, and to feel like this is going to be the rest of my life, that I am never going to have even a little bit of independence for myself.
Cindy works every day to make sure they have the best life possible.
The nice thing about autism is you celebrate every little baby step.
She hopes sharing a little bit of her life and her children's lives will open people's eyes and show people just how truly amazing they are.
We have so many things that we can give to the world. My children are all artists. There's so many positives to autism, but we also need to help people that are really struggling.
And Allie, it sounds like this mother has been through so much. What is her secret to overcoming these obstacles?
Well, she has a great support system. She does have people come by the house during the day to help her take care of the children. She says she has great best friends, a supportive husband, great family to help her out. And another thing that's getting her through this all is educating people. She has a YouTube page. You can check it out on her website at wxyz.com.
Oh, what are your thoughts about the video we just watched? You want to go first?
Oh, for wow. Um, I thought it was a phenomenon having two back to back. Four. Wow. Um, I kind of felt the mother's pain a little bit when she you know stated that she don't think that she'll ever be able to have any type of independency. But I don't think that's the only thing that she's concerned about, because there has to be other factors that are included with her thoughts. Like I mentioned before, the possibility of not being a grandparent. Um, I still have that possibility because I have other children that doesn't have autism. You know, um, but in this mother's situation, that's, I'm not saying impossible, but highly unlikely. And her having the young children now, you're not really thinking about that, especially when you're mostly ingrained with dealing with them now as children. You're not really thinking about, okay, 20 years from now, um, what are their lives going to be like? What is my life going to be like? Uh, so I really feel for her, but I will definitely pray for her and hope that she has strength, and hope that she comes to the realization that, you know, she has four autistic children for a reason. And she has to know and realize that it happened to her because it maybe can't happen to anyone else. And it shouldn't, and it's not supposed to happen to anyone else, and it's supposed to happen to her. So that falls back into, the not just the why me, but the why not me.
For me, I understood exactly what she said. Well, because I've been raising our children since they were born until now. And sometimes you want a break. You want time to yourself. Now, when my children were younger, that's not the thought that crossed my mind. But now that they're older, sometimes yeah, it does cross my mind because I don't get that same privilege as other parents whose children are adults. My children or our children are here, and I'm going to be parenting our children for as long as I live. Um, on my situation, it's hard to navigate dating. If I just want to take a vacation, it's hard to do. Pretty much everywhere I go, my children go to. So I understand where she's coming from with that, because there are at times I feel like I want some time to myself, but I can't really have that because my children need me 24/7. Especially Raymond and now, they need me 24/7. Um, there were times I remember I was working for Blue Cross. I had to take off work for 6 months because Nala was in a bad place and she needed me home. So I've missed out on a lot of job opportunities that could have brought my career further than what it is. But I chose to have kids at the end of the day. So regardless if they have a special need or not, my children come first all the time. That was one of the reasons why I got out the military, because they, they wouldn't work with me and Will. Both of us was doing military. They wanted to send both of us out to sea. And I'm like, and we had to do a parent program where we had to pretty much have somebody else legally take care of our child if we both went out to sea. That's not what I wanted. It's my child. I'm raising my child. So I got out the military, raised my child. If I have to quit a job to raise my child, quit a job to raise my child. But in the, now that they're older, you would think, okay, now I can get a little break. But that doesn't happen for parents that have children with special needs. There's no break. There's no break. You either in it or you not. And that's how I always felt. I'm in it. That's just it. So how did you deal with education system? What are some issues you had to address? I'll go first because we'll know I was a beast at them schools. They're like, Miss Thompson's here. Look, I didn't play when it came to them teachers or them schools, because they will put your child in a classroom and don't say nothing to them. And I've seen classrooms growing up in school where they put all the kids that they didn't know what was wrong with them in one class, and them kids just do whatever they want to do in the classroom. I didn't want that for my kids, so we searched out schools who had good programs. Texas had the best programs. The best programs. When I moved to Louisiana, I was in them people's butt because Nala was taking sign language because she's pretty much nonverbal. So she was taking sign language. She was taking music therapy when we was in Texas. We moved out here. They was she can't take sign language because she's not deaf. What that mean? So what? So it was a lot of programs that they don't have out here that they had in other places. But anytime I had an issue with them people, I would schedule a conference. They got tired of seeing me all the time. Even in Texas, one time, Nala slapped a teacher. We remember that time Nala slapped that teacher. Anyway, that teacher deserved to be slapped. I ain't telling that, but I was laughing. Nala had burped or something in class, and I just don't think the teacher liked her. Nala had burped in class, and the lady was always sending bad progress stuff home over little small stuff. I'm like, I thought you were supposed to be trained. She just burped. So the last thing we had to come up to the school because she slapped a teacher. And I was like, I had to apologize. But in the back of my mind, I was like, you deserve to get slapped. But I'll be on them teachers. And even with Amira, her school, I'll be on it. But I can tell you this, because of the way we've raised our children, there has never been a school, an adult, or anybody that has said any negative things about my children when it comes to discipline. Every school that they have ever went to, there's like, oh, if we could just have 20 more students like this, 20 more kids like this, 20 more parents like y'all. So yeah, I am strict, but my kids are blessed, and people don't turn us away when we come down the road. So I got to tell you that. They know her kids are well behaved. You see some children that have special needs, they can't take them to the store. They can't take them to the movies. They can't take them out to eat. Since they were babies, we took them everywhere. And we'll know. I used to tell Raymond, if you act up, we going to the bathroom. And one time we was watching Lord of the Rings, and I said, one of my favorite movies, I said, if you act up, we going to the bathroom. And he act up. I had to excuse myself and miss one of my good movies, take him down there to the bathroom, came back, he fell asleep. I don't play when it comes to discipline. But guess what? They are well behaved, they are well spoken, even though with their disability, they can kind of communicate and their behavior is not erratic and chaotic and all over the place. And I feel like sometimes parents who have children like ours, they give into everything that they want because they don't know what else to do, or they're tired of them screaming or tired of them acting up. So they just give here, be quiet, here, shut up, here, do this. No, not me. I'll take it. And then you go to your room and you can cry and holler all you want in your room, but give me that iPad, give me that TV. So they know. Like Raymond, because he's such a man, I had to take something from him, and he was like, "Well, Mom, you can't discipline other people's kids." I said, "But you're my child." "Well, I'm Dad's child too." I said, "Well, let me call your daddy. Let me call your daddy." I said, "I will send you to your daddy." And he didn't think I meant my business. I was packing this. I'm just playing, Mom. I'm just playing. So my kids know. One time he was acting up in school, and I don't know, he did something to the teacher, and he would draw these pictures to make up because he was our little drama king. He would draw these little pictures to make up for being upset or whatever. And the teacher would call me and Will, and I'd get him on the phone, be like, "What's the problem?" "Nothing. So we never had a serious problem with school or education, but when it comes to them ICP meetings or whatever, those were the worst, because they try to put your kid where they think your kid should be, and I'm like, "No, my kid needs to be here. This is what needs to be done, and this is what I want." You got to tell them what you want. Don't let them just give it to you. You are at the house with your children all the time. If you don't know your child or know their weaknesses or their strong points, you got a problem, because the school system do not care about your child as much as you're going to care about your child. So if you know their weaknesses, you know their strong points, you know them more than the school should know them. So you're like, "Nah, this is my son, this is my daughter, this is what they need, and this is what's going to help them in life." I used to tell them that all the time. I said, "I do not want my child to have a certificate. They need a high school diploma." Because Louisiana was trying to give them a certificate. Like, no, I want them in the high school diploma program. And they got their high school diploma. So that's how I dealt with them. They was upset I was there. "Miss Thompson here." I ain't care. Miss Thompson is here. The parent who cares. So.
Okay, Dad, your turn.
Um. Well, as far as the education, I think I dealt more with the education system when they were younger. Not so much when they were older, because I wasn't in Louisiana with them. But what I can tell you about, the relationship I had with the educators in Texas when we were there, um, they were very cooperative. They were very organized, and they were very informative with communicating on the progress of our kids. With that being said, fast forward, they moved to Louisiana. They moved from Texas to Louisiana. That's when Javon has to be into into the progress, or ingrained with the progress of them within the Louisiana education system. And just something from what I can tell, just by what they were going through and what me and Javon would communicate about, it was nowhere near as good as the education system in Texas. I don't think they really cared. They wasn't really organized. They wasn't, it's almost like the kids were just there, and they had people that was there trying to teach them that didn't know what they were doing, or two, they just didn't really care. That's not what I wanted to say, but
That is
that's
what
the
it
nice
is.
way to say it, right? But I think the issue with them was their ability to teach them things that they were gonna need to know as they progress within their educational journey, from grade to grade. Um, I just From what I saw with Raymond and Nyla coming up in the education system, I didn't, and I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm off. Maybe Javon, you can confirm or deny. But I didn't really see too much progress within their educational skills as they were getting older. And like I said, I know they have autism, but still, you should still be able to do certain things even with that condition. And I just didn't see that. And
Yeah.
another thing that I mentioned, and then Javon, she gonna know where I'm going with this. Um, when I thought Raymond was gonna graduate, right? I thought he was gonna graduate when it would have been 19 or
Mhm.
18,
Mhm.
actually, because his birthday is in October. And she's like, nah, he's in the program till he's whatever. I said, okay, that's cool. So I think he was supposed to be in the program till how old
I
was he
think
supposed
it's
to be?
22.
22 years old.
Yeah.
So when he was up to graduate, Nyla was graduated with him. And I was like, well,
We was confused.
last time I checked, Nyla is two
Exactly.
years younger, almost 2 years younger than Raymond. So she should be graduating the same time as Raymond within that program. She should actually have been graduating this year
Mhm.
with Amira, with her younger sister. But she didn't. So my thought with this was, okay, at school, Raymond, Nala listens to her big brother. Just like I was saying before, her big brother, Raymond, demands authority and respect from all of his younger siblings, and they listen to him. And just like Nala listens to him, and he's able to kind of, I don't really like using controlling, but he knows how to keep her calm and in order to do what she needs to do and what she's supposed to do. And I felt like the educators knew that when he was graduating, they didn't want to deal with that. They didn't want to deal with Nala because Rambert
Exactly.
was no longer going to be there. So they was like, well, he's gone, then she got to go too.
I thought
So
that same thing.
I felt like they kind of forced her out of that school program,
Yep.
you know, for the simple fact that they didn't want to deal with her anymore.
They did.
And I wasn't too happy about that. And I know when I asked Yvonne, I was she's like, yeah, they're both graduates. I said, huh? I said, how's that possible? I said, how does Raymond graduate when he's 22, but Nala graduate when she's 20? Or 21, or barely 21. Like, she got another year.
Yep.
So it's like, nah, that's just what they said. And I was like,
That's what
so
they
many
told
things,
me.
yeah, so many things went through my mind. Like, do I call this school and just like, you know, go retro on them, or should I just, just pray about it and just let everything work its way out? And that's what I decided to do. But I was a little uneasy about that, and I'm sure Javon was as well. We all were.
Yep.
Um,
I was
so,
uneasy about it, but I didn't fuss about it.
uh
And the
huh,
reason why is because Nala is a female and I don't trust a lot. He knows I don't trust a lot. And with
yeah,
Raymond not being there, I was scared. So I
yeah,
was like, no, my babies just come on home. Just come on home.
yeah, yeah, and and like I said, I didn't want Nyla to be put in a situation where she was uncomfortable.
Hmm.
So I thought about her more so than thinking about myself and my discomfort. So I just had to let it go. But that to me was the issue that I had, far as education wise, their progress as they got older and getting older in the grades, and the fact that they graduated hurt my daughter, who was almost 2 years younger than her older brother, at the same time, for the simple fact that they didn't want to deal with her anymore.
Yeah.
And it hurt, but like I said, it works its way out. It works its way out. But that's the only issue that I had. But other than that, I mean, I didn't really experience any other internal issues dealing with the school system because, like I said, I wasn't there in Louisiana like Javon was.
Okay.
Part of the problem is when they're small, everybody seems to want to work with them, but when they get to a certain age and they become adults, they're not as much fun to work with anymore. And there's no place for them to go after school.
Our son Andy is 29 years old and he has autism. He's sweet and kind, but he gets angry sometimes. We love him for who he is, and he is the reason we started this journey. The future is the big thing for us with Andy. We don't know where he'll live, what he's going to do.
What happens to him when we're no longer here? That's our biggest fear. And Ruth knew Hannah was autistic when she was about 6 months old. Nobody had to tell her. She knew from the eye contact, the whole bit.
Hannah is sweet and funny and kind, and she is energetic and loves life in general, which is fun. People like to be around her because of that. So she's 20 right now. Kids get to go to school till their 22nd birthday, and then she'll graduate from school, and we're trying to prepare as best we can for that, which is enormous. We are responsible for doing everything. So without the direct care staff, our days are filled with caring for the kids.
Biggest fear we have in life. What happens when we're not here any longer? I mean, we can't tell you how many times Ruth and I have looked at each other and said, do you think we're doing the right thing for the kids? I mean, do you think the kids are going to be all right once we're gone? I mean...
When he was young,
What are some of your fears or worries as your kids move into adulthood, living on their own, group homes, etc.? You can go first, Will. It's all right.
Wow, man, I wasn't. I don't think I was ready for that question.
Yeah.
Uh, I worry about they safety. If I'm no longer here. But at the same time, I know that there's a lot of people in my life that I know that would love them and take care of them if I'm no longer here. Uh, I have amazing children. I have amazing children. I have an amazing wife. Um, they have an amazing mom, amazing auntie, uncle. I just I feel like the fear of them having a normal adult life. I think that's what I fear about. Fear of them not having. That's what I fear more. Of them not being able to have a normal adult life and just being able to experience like some of the things that I've experienced. And I remember my mom telling me this because my mom grew up in as within an upper middle class family, which was very highly uncommon back during her time when she was growing up, and especially for a black family. But fortunately, her mom was very well educated, my grandmother, and her dad was, my grandfather was a hard worker and a hustler. I said I call it what it is, a spade a spade. Um, so they lived a really good life, but I didn't have the type of father that my mother had when she grew up, and my mother struggled with all of us. And I can see the pain. I can see the pain in her face when she realized that she couldn't give us the type of life that she had. And I knew that it hurt her as we were growing up. But as we got older, she was able to see what kind of life that we was able to provide for our children. She was able to see what type of parents we became and how we provided for our children. And that made her proud. And and I tell my children today, I tell them, I said, look, you know, we love y'all. And I'm gonna tell you something, the worst thing that can happen to a parent is them feeling helpless to be able to make sure that their child is safe and that they're not taken care of. And you willing to do anything that you possibly can to make sure that they're gonna be okay. You will take 100 out of 100 risk to do whatever it takes to make sure that your child is gonna be fine and gonna be safe. Not even thinking about it. Legal risk, I
Yes.
would say. I like to I like to reiterate that because I'm not selling drugs for anybody,
Exactly.
right? Um, but uh, you know, that's just something that still goes through my mind to this day. But as I say, I'm a praying man. I'm a Christian man, a man of faith, and I know that God is gonna make sure my kids are fine and okay. If they're in a group home, I pray that they're around good people and that they're taken care of. They have an uncle that's in a group home, and they take amazing care of him. He's not autistic. He just, he had an issue with drugs when he was young, and they got the best of him the older he got. And now, right now, he's paranoid schizophrenia. And we just seen him a couple of hours ago at church. He was there. You know, an amazing, great, kind-hearted man, but just had to deal with a lot of issues growing up without a father being involved and being in a life. He's a product of that. Uh, Everyone doesn't turn out that way. That doesn't have a father in their life, but he wasn't fortunate in that situation. But at the same time, he's fortunate now, and he's loved and he's cared for, and he has all this family that loves him and care for him and that looks out for him. And I believe the same is going to happen for my child, our children, if something was to happen to myself or their mom. Um, there was times where I was like, just you never want to outlive this. I hope this doesn't sound horrible, but this is just being honest. You never want to, as a parent, outlive the life of your children. But I will tell you one thing with doing that in a situation like this, you know what you're going to do for your children while they're here on this
Mm-hmm.
earth. You know exactly what you're going to do for them while they're here. And if they just so happen to leave before you leave, you know they're safe. And you won't have to worry about who's going to take care of them when you're no longer here. That's I think about that. Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. That's really tough. But it's a reality when you in a situation like that. It's a it's a big reality. And I've seen, a good friend of mine, he lost three children, and the pain that I saw in this man's face, I can do anything but inherit that and put myself in his position. And as I did that, that that pain there was so intense and so hard that I was affected by that for years. And they weren't even, I mean, they were like my children because he was my great friend I grew up with, my childhood friend I grew up with. And none of them had autism, but the fact that he lost multiple children at one time, not once did he say, why me? Not once did he say that. He took that. And I said, you know what? That's what I need. I need that type of strength right there to be able to deal with this situation and to deal with, the fact that, there may be a possibility that you are here longer than your two children that has autism. It's very possible. But if that day does come, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for that. And I don't mean that to sound bad or sound harsh or overly selfish. Um, but that's just how I feel. That's how I feel, and if anyone else feels like that, I understand. I can empathize with parents that may feel that. Because like I said, that while you're here, you're not gonna let anyone harm your children.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment that you're gone, you no longer have control. You can only thing that you can hope for is that they're around good people that's gonna love and care for them just as much as you did. And that's what I feel about that. And I apologize. I'm good. And
That's all right.
it's very emotional, uh, because yeah, it's very emotional. I'm sorry. But I'm glad that we're talking about it to get that out because I think about this all the time. There's some times where I have some alone time, you know, um, and of course, I think everyone in this car know where I do a lot of my alone time, and that is the toilet. Yes, it is. Uh, and I think about things. I've made some really great decisions in the bathroom,
Oh
and
God.
I, I mean,
Not a world, no.
it sounds funny, but listen, I'm not a man alone. I'm not a man that stands alone. It's probably a man out there right now be like, you know what, I do the same thing, but he may not come out and say it here on the live stream like I'm doing it. I don't mind. So, but yeah. So I think about that. Think about things a lot, and sometimes I just be thinking about that in my head, and then I would get very emotional, and I would start crying. And I try to do these things on my own because I don't want to worry my kids. I don't want to worry my wife. I don't want to worry. Let's say if I'm around Raymond or if I'm looking at Nyla and these thoughts go in my head. I don't want to cry in front of her because she's gonna be like, "Why is my daddy crying?" She may not verbally be able to say that, but she's probably thinking that because she knows what's going on. She's coherent on what's going on around her. She just don't know how to communicate.
Mhm.
On what's happening around her. So um I just try to do everything I can to try to protect them and hold those emotions inside, especially when I'm around them. But it is a thought. It is a thought, but I don't ever want them to think that I don't love them, and I don't want them to think that I wouldn't do anything for them and that I don't want to ever be around them. No, that's not. That's never the case whatsoever. Never. You know, I'm very protective of them. I get upset just by thinking of anybody that would mess with them. I like, I would get just the thought about it. It's and that's love. That's because you care so much and you're so protective as a parent. I'm like that with everybody. I'm like that. With my family, my wife, my kids, um, my siblings, anyone that's close to me or anyone that needs me, that needs my protection. I am that way. And when I feel like that's in danger or if that's at risk, then I worry about that. And that is my fear about adulthood in a nutshell. Just encompassing all those things and putting them together. Are they going to be okay when I'm gone? Um, what I prefer? Would I do I want to outlive my children? Can I handle knowing that I'm no longer going to be here if they're going to be safe? That is my ultimate fear, but it's a fear that I'm willing to accept. It's a fear and a challenge that I'm willing to accept as well.
All right. So me and him have the same thought about that. I can remember watching yeah, if y'all don't remember the Ray Charles movie, and it started off when he was a child, and his mom, get out the way. His mom was like, I'm gonna raise him like I raise all my other kids, not like he has a disability. And that's how I did mine, because this world is very cruel. People are not going to treat your children like you treat your children. And when you're gone, there is no protection for them. So you got to raise them like a normal child. And I did that, or we did that, the best that we knew how, to raise them like they're just regular, normal children. Put them in things like they're regular, normal children. When they act up, discipline them like they're regular, normal children. Because when me and Will are gone, that thought is there all the time. Like, I don't know what I don't know what's gonna happen. I sit in my room sometimes by myself and I think about that and I cry about that because I don't know. And I agree with him. Not that I would want to outlive my children, but at least I know they're well protected because I'm always gonna be there. Versus some stranger I don't know, and like, because you hear about that, what happens in these homes, what happens to, there's stories about females getting pregnant that are not well upstairs. How does that happen? I would kill someone. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I would bury someone over my children. Literally. I've said this when they were small. Will know I will bury someone over my children all day. I don't play about that. And that's my biggest fear, is putting them in a home or a group home. This is why, like, I hope by the time, if God take me from this world, my house is paid for. I will put it in the will that they own my house, and whoever comes take care of my children, they have a house to live in to finish taking care of my children. All of my they own my beneficiary plan. All my money go to my kids. So if you come take care of my kids, that's where the money at. I'm not just going to give anybody money and be like, take care of my, no, the money go to my children. My house go to my children. So if I ever pass away, guess what? At least I could say I tried to leave something to take care of them while I'm gone. Hopefully, but that's just something, it's hard to plan for that. Like, how do you plan for that when your children are not, they're in an adult age, but they don't function as an adult. They don't know how to take care of money or things like that, or bills. Like, how do you plan for that? So that father in that video, he's absolutely right. When your kids, when they little, everybody want to play with them. Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. But when they adults now, they're no longer cute. This is real business. You got children who are autistic that literally punch holes in walls, will hurt their parents. I mean, we're blessed our children aren't that off like that, but it happens. And I feel really bad for those type of parents, because now you're going to ask somebody to step into your situation. I don't know. But I would rather my children be home with me 24/7, all day, every day. Even if I have to quit my job and be home with them 24/7, that's what I'd rather do. If it came down to it. I've quit a job before, so it's nothing to quit again. But our children are the most important thing to us. That was like, I don't know how else to say it. That's number one to me. God gave me these children for a reason. And me and Will talked about that one time before. It's like, God don't make mistakes. He know exactly who he wants to give these type of children to. He's not going to put nothing on you that you can't bear. And I bared a lot throughout my life. This has been my hardest thing, because it's a lifelong thing. Lifelong. I can't just say I give it up, because these are humans. These are children. You can't just give them up like that. So this is a lifelong decision that I've made. And I just keep going. Anytime I need help or assistance, I call Will. He's always there. Hands down. I have no worries. Our children have no worries. We may not live in the same household, but they have 100% support from both parents. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. 100% support from both parents. And people need to understand that. All day. You have these children, you need to abide by what God has put in your lap. Ain't nobody tell you to be out there just having kids. Whatever the situation may come, whether they regular children or special needs children, you got them. And that's all. That's why I just keep pushing forward, because I love my children no matter what the situation is. If they grow out of it, cool. If not, I'm still cool. God has covered us this far, so.
Okay, you say, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me now?
I hear you now. I don't know what.
Oh, child. He said he has to get gas. And he'll be right.
Yeah.
So you keep going. If you have anything.
But yeah, that's how I feel about them group homes. And
yeah,
I wouldn't even I wouldn't even want to put my mom in
me either.
Old folks home.
You see what I did?
My house is not that big, but my mama could come live with me if she got to a point where she couldn't live by herself. I just don't trust them places. I don't.
And look, I take my mama from her own family.
Yeah,
they weren't treating her right. So
I would have a house. Listen, it's 4 of us in here.
Right.
We got 4 bedrooms. We'll make room for my mama. I do not care. Like,
I don't
I'm
trust.
not putting my children in no group home. I'm not putting my mom in no old folks home.
And
Everybody
you know what I
going
was
to be
thinking?
whatever they
I
got.
was thinking myself. I was saying like, if you want to live, you want to be independent. Okay, we're gonna put your little tiny house in the backyard.
Exactly. Exactly.
There you go. You're independent. You got your little tiny
Exactly.
house. And we can make sure you okay.
And my
But
son, he got his man cave. He got his
exactly,
computer,
right,
his
exactly.
TV, everything. He about to get a refrigerator in his room.
See, there you go.
He don't need to go live
Yeah.
nowhere else. He fine.
That's something I wanted to, bring that up because all of our kids are older. Mr. Caleb will be 20. Okay.
He just like
I don't know. Wait till he calculate. And so, and they're getting older and we're getting older.
right.
So we have to really think about those things, especially with the way the world is now, child. Yeah, that's why I didn't mean to trigger y'all, but I wanted to hear, someone else's perspective. I know what I think and what I feel about it. I want to hear what somebody else feels about,
Yeah, we've
making
talked
the
about this.
separation and stuff like that.
Me and him have talked about this that before, and yeah, that's not for me. That's not an option at all.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't see myself doing it. I just can't.
Yeah.
So,
And especially because I know the stuff that goes on in these places.
hmm
I can't. I cannot. Even if it comes highly recommended and they got all the bells and whistles and all the cameras. I've seen videos where you even have cameras
yeah,
in the rooms and stuff, and you would literally,
yeah, I
you
can't.
may see things, you may can see like nothing's going on, but you don't hear because mental emotional abuse is real too.
Right.
You don't know how they're talking to them or belittling them, making them feel bad, that kind of thing.
See,
Besides being physically abused as well.
like Raymond may be able to stay by himself. Um, and like Will said, he a man, so he gonna speak his mind. He been like that since, I'm telling you, girl, he been like that since he was little. I used to say, whatever woman that he married gonna have to be on her P's and Q's because he ain't playing. Look, let me tell you, look. My mom likes to watch HGTV. They build houses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
That's one of my
so
favorites.
you saw in the picture the little girl he's standing next to, right? Her name Precious. That was his girlfriend in school, or his little friend.
Okay.
So we went on a trip, me, my mom, and the kids, and we stayed at a hotel. She was watching HGTV, and now he ain't never watched. He used to watch cartoons, but he watching it, and they build a house, and he say, just out the blue, I'm gonna build me and Precious a house. I said, oh, you real? I said, okay. Look, most kid, look, now he's special needs, but he understand what a man's supposed to do. He said, I'm gonna build my girl a house. I said, you go ahead, build your girl a house.
Do your thing, baby. Yes.
But he go out, he cut the grass, he take the trash out, he walk the dog. He do the things a man's supposed to do around the house. Look, when I come home from work, he come out, how you doing, Mom? How was your day? He greet me at the door. He ready. He gonna get a wife. He gonna get a wife. Oh, you done broke up again, Miss Ty. Final thoughts. Is there anything you would have done differently? What are some words of wisdom you would give parents? You could go, Will.
Is there anything differently that I would have done?
And what are some words of wisdom you would give parents?
Um, I would say no. I wouldn't have done anything differently than what I've done as a parent. with the exception of, well, actually, yes, I take that back. I'm gonna retract that statement. I think that what I would have done differently was maybe be a little more involved in their educational progress, in which I, realized that they were not progressing as well as I thought they should be, increasing the grades. Um, I wish that maybe I would have communicated with their mom more in that regards, and try to come up with a solution to where we could remedy that situation, to where they'll be able to be put in a situation to where they can progress going to the programs they were going to in Louisiana. And that's not a knock at Louisiana educational system,
I knock it.
because I don't believe that I don't believe that every educational system in Louisiana is terrible. I just think that um, certain educational systems are in need of overhaul, and it needs more intuitive training within their system and within their educators that are dealing with children with special needs. Um, but I just think that I should have probably been more involved in that differently. And then some words of wisdom for parents. Just know that you are chosen for a reason. These children are in your lives for a reason, and you are blessed to have children with special needs. And just hang in there. Keep God in your life. Keep your spirit strong, and just love them as much as you can while you can, and it will all make its way out. It'll all work its way out. So just hang in there. I know at times get tough, but just hang in there. It's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be okay, and that's what I have.
Okay, my final thoughts is would I do anything differently? Probably not. I think I've done the best that I could have done. Um, I don't know what else I could have done differently to do better. However, oh, you know what? I think I could have communicated better. I would say that. So when our children were diagnosed, like I think this live stream is the most with me and him have talked about our children's uh, autism to each other, and because we didn't communicate how we was feeling at the moment going through it, we was just going, going. Like, okay, so I think that could have been done better. And to the parents who are going through this, I'm gonna say that as well. Communication is key, because you need to be able to have an outlet to talk to your significant other and be like, "This is how I'm feeling," and be able to do it without no shame and no fear and no criticism with it, because that's the only way you're gonna get through that. Because you gotta know how the other person is thinking and what they're going through, and because when you just put the kids first, then y'all left in the dark. You left behind, and then things start to happen. So be able to communicate with each other. That way you can further help the children and what they need as well. So I would say that to parents: be open to communication and be open to listen and open to change. So that's it. Oh, wait, what about the bonus mom? Miss Linda?
Oh,
What you got
she's
to
here.
say, girl?
I was just actually listened, and I think that was a very good conversation. I don't have nothing to add.
Well, I'm gonna add it for her. She's been amazing. You know, whenever Raymond and Nala and Amira comes down to visit us, you know, there's no difference in the love that she provides for everyone across the board. And you know, like I said before, you know, I know that my children will be safe if something was to happen to me or happen to, because of the people around them that loves them just as much as we do. And I couldn't be more grateful to have someone to be able, especially in a situation like this, to be able to be as strong as she is and as loving and caring as she is to myself, our children, and Raymond and Nyla and Amira. And the fact that, you know, her and Javon works really well together. They talk a lot. They double team me a lot. So I guess that's a blessing as well, because it could be the complete opposite. But so I'm thankful for that as well. And I have one more question. How come Javon and y'all podcasts look like y'all have a legit podcast?
Because we do.
And I'm in the back of the I'm in the truck driving with rain. You getting all weather conditions. In my background, you hear strollers, moose raising and lowering. People, you know, fussing each other because one car parked in front of the other car in front of the street. So I apologize for not being as authentic as the other two podcasters that are on here. I call you podcasters because you look like podcasters, and I look like just somebody that's driving in the car, you know, not late for a court date though, you know, with a suspended license. But yeah, so I apologize for that, but I do appreciate the conversation. And like Javon said, this is probably the first time we ever talked about or kind of expressed the emotions that we have with dealing with children. We're dealing with our children with autism, or just children in general with autism. It was much needed, and I appreciate the invite. And this is really good. I don't know if this was a one-time thing, but if it was, it felt like it was a million. So
you know you're gonna meet her when you come down, right?
I appreciate it. Yes, absolutely.
So when Raymond has his birthday, you know he wants it at the main event. You invite Miss Ty and her son. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. We have a great time. You know, two dominant guys. That's gonna take control of the situation, with the exception of paying for everything. I'm pretty sure that's still gonna fall in my hands, but I'm okay with it. So, but yeah. So thanks again. It's been a pleasure. And you know, if this conversation come up again, please, I'll be more than willing to speak with anyone or talk to anyone that are dealing with the similar situation and just need some type of words of encouragement. I'm here for it. So thanks again.
Bye.
What happened?
He'll be all right.
See y'all later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm going to call you. I can't hear you. It's gurgling. Just call me.
Ha ha ha!